All right, take 4. Looks like it might start raining not too in a little while here. Okay, so I was talking about the aliens, the fallen angels, okay, and the Nephilim and the giants and all that. And there's a lot of other things that are going to start happening. People, they're playing with this CERN thing, and basically they're trying to crack into the other realms, and they're gonna do it, and they're not gonna like what they find. And the guys, the scientists, they're I guess they think they can somehow control it, but once these guys get across the barrier, they're not going to be able to do anything to stop what they're going to do. And you're going to realize just, how close to playing with matches in a fuel tank is what they're doing. So, it's going to blow up in their face. And it would be the sheer utter terror they're going to be experiencing is off the charts. So if you know anybody that's involved in that thing, I would advise them to quit and go do something else for a living. Or but they're going to do what they're going to do. So they'll find out the hard way, I guess. So I was going to go over this thing with Vicky, okay, Parnell. And this has to do with some of these attacks that are coming as well. That's why I think it's important to put it out. And like I said, you can look at her video and get all this. And I'm just going to go over it kind of quick. But for those in the military, maybe you find this pretty interesting. So I thought I'd just put it out real fast. Okay, the Lord told her basically in this dream that Taiwan will be hit by China. There's 6 different states. Let's see. So there's 6 steps in this plan of theirs. There's 6 steps in this scenario, these things that are going to happen. Okay, and it's already started. Kazakhstan, okay, was the first, basically starting point of this whole thing. You could call this the beginning of World War III. The second was Ukraine. Third is Taiwan. Then Japan. Then Hawaii and Guam, and lastly America. So we're at the Ukraine stage now. And the Taiwan stage is perking right now, okay? So we're right before the Taiwan stage, I would say, and the Japan stage. Now Japan is going to initially, from what I read before, they're going to be getting friendlier with the Chinese, but I think not until later. I think it may have to do out of necessity, but they'll make some kind of agreement, and then Japan will be the ally of China, because they're going to see, basically that the winning team is the winning team, okay, and they're going to go with the winning team, and for financial reasons or whatever. So we're at the Taiwan stage, She talked about, the Lord said, this will keep your military, okay, after this attack, when they hit Taiwan, and then they strike Hawaii and Guam and maybe a couple other places out there in the Pacific, and Japan. We do have forces still in Japan. The Japanese will actually, come to assist Taiwan, and will begin this, pushback against the Chinese, and the United States will come running, and that's when they get hit. Okay, and we lose many ships. So, and our Navy is basically, you know, after this first task force gets totally annihilated, I don't know exactly how it's going to go, but I know it's not going to go well. I would expect a draft as well. Okay, once somewhere along the line there's going to be a draft, a military draft again, and it'll be done. I had a dream about it, and I put it out in a video, I think, and a friend of mine also had a dream, vision of this Ray Bergman, and he and I both saw very similar things, and it was done in a rush. Okay, they were in a big hurry to get as many people ramped up into being trained up as fast as they could, but they really didn't have the time, and I guess they shortened the training cycles for boot camps and whatnot, and then any other auxiliary training they do, specialized training. They just did it really fast, and I mean they called up everybody. What I saw was, I mean, they were calling up 15-year-olds and people well over 50. Okay, and if you were physically fit in any way, shape, or form, and you could do some job, they would take you. And now I don't know if I don't know if the vaccine is going to come into play there or not. They may decide to put that on a shelf for a while in order to entice as many people as possible to come in, and also not to give them any guff about being drafted, because a lot of people are going to say, I'm going to take that junk, you know, and like some are now, and God bless them. And but you know, I would expect something like that. And but this whole thing was done in such a rush, and the guys that I saw, there were large groups of these guys. They were sort of milling about, but they knew they were going. They knew they were going overseas. They knew they were going to be, you know, deployed really quick. And it reminded me of kind of like Vietnam and that whole era of how the military was in those days. And Ray saw that similar thing. He saw they were pretty much depressed about having to go. Okay, he saw them in planes, I think, and other ways of transport. I hope the weather holds up. But he saw these guys, and their morale was not too good. Okay, and it may have been after already that there had been an you know, this basically this strike against our Navy, for sure, and maybe even the Army too. But they needed a lot of people, and they needed them real fast, and so they were just pushing this. They were also, it seemed like they were using you know, patriotism as a vehicle to get people more agreeable to going and getting involved. They were, you know, they were using, you can call it propaganda, I guess, or whatever, but they were trying to whip up the patriotic fervor and to get people more, you know, agreeable to the whole thing, and get the people behind it. Okay, and you know, kind of bring back the pride of you know, this is the United States and la da da and all this stuff. But anyway, but they will be drafting a lot of people. So if you have children that are of that age group, you know, pray for them, and if you're of the age group, okay, you need to really think about it hard and pray and ask the Lord, is this what you want me to do, Lord, or you know, or whatever it is, you know. But you know, I served a long time, well over 20 years, and I got out of it a lot. Okay, and you know, I saw some pretty rough stuff, but overall, it was a good thing. It was a good thing, but I made it. I turned a lemon into lemonade too. You know, many times. You just have to, and you 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 take what you can, good and the bad. You endure it, and then you get some more good. And there, you know, keep your chin up. Okay, if you have to go, then well, go and do a good job. Do the best you can, and you know. Put yourselves like men, okay? Be men about it. Just be men about it. And lady folks, I feel for you, but you know, things are the way they are, okay? I mean, the Israelis, they cycle their ladies through because they have to, and because they're surrounded by, you know, wolves, so they have to be, everybody has to be on deck, and it's going to be the same way here, okay? Everybody's going to have to be on deck. And when what is coming, there are no non-combatants, okay? I don't care if you're a 80-year-old granny, okay? You can do something, and you know, if that all that is you're in the prayer closet, and that's what you do. But there will be no non-combatants in this whole thing. Everyone is going to be affected and involved in some way. So that's just something to keep in mind. There's she talked about a lot of tunnels, okay, that are in the country, and I've seen this elsewhere too, that have been built over the last few, you know, several decades, and evidently, I guess there may be some new ones too, and the Chinese and the Russians are going to use these tunnels. Okay, so this general was skeptical about what she was telling this Vicky Purnell. Now this was in a dream, okay? So she was having this dream, a very vivid dream, and so she was speaking to the general over a map. She was in some sort of a strange bunker kind of place, and there was a map on the table, and she was talking to this general and just pointing out these places where the enemy forces had underground hideouts and such, and bases, and that there was an entryway near the Canadian border, and anyway, somewhere up near Montana, I believe, and there may be one near Wisconsin also, and also one in Washington State and Idaho area. And she talked to him about dark matter and some things that some of this stuff was really classified stuff, and no way a civilian was going to know any of this stuff. And so she was, you know, convincing him that she was legitimate. And so there's a place called Iron Mountain, and there's tunnels, and there's a place called Salsa Marie in Wisconsin, St. Francis, Chesapeake, Maine, Messina, New York, in addition to Rochester, New York, Greensboro, Pennsylvania, Dover, Ohio. Dover, Ohio. Anyway, and she was told that China's fleet is 7 times larger than our fleet. Okay, that's, in other words, they're hidden away. Okay, the Chinese have got a lot of ships and a lot of subs and probably some other carriers, and they're stashed away in these huge caverns. Okay, and near, you know, adjacent to their coast, but deep underground where we can't see them. And the Russians also have this kind of stuff, and they've hit it. Russia's is 3 times as large as ours. Now, the last I looked, we had about a 300 ship navy, so you're talking 900 ships for the you know, the Russians, and well, 3,000 ships roughly for the Chinese. Okay, and that could include also the craft that is used for amphibious landings and such like that. And I know they have I mean, they have a lot of shipping. I mean, they've been doing a lot of building, okay, with all that money we spend at Walmart, and over the last 30 years. So, and they've been doing it on the sly. I mean, they've been quietly building up this force in preparation for all of this. So it doesn't really surprise me. And I heard some things back years ago and some other things that piqued my interest and got me looking. So all through these years, I've been just basically observing and taking note of certain things that I hear or see or read. And so this doesn't really surprise me too much. And our military, I'm sure they're quite aware of it as well. Some of them, anyway. Okay, they have a lot of weapons they have not used, and they're keeping secret because obvious reasons. They don't want to play their cards yet. But these weapons will be way advanced from anything we have, and they will use them to augment their forces so that they can pull this all off. They won't do any. The Chinese and the Russians, they will not do anything unless they're very confident they can pull it off. So if they start making these kinds of moves, it means they're pretty close to being there. Okay, they're pretty close to having everything and all their ducks in a row, ready to rock and roll. And meanwhile, we're still being under low echelon warfare by them all the time. I mean, they're constantly pinging our computer systems and whatever, but they're also using other methods like our economy, biological warfare on us, and other things to weaken us and get us down to a level where we're not such a formidable force. They still highly respect us. Okay, they remember World War II. They have not forgotten, and they're very shrewd and very patient. But this superior army lays hidden under the seas and underground facilities reserved for the invasion of our country. He's withholding them even while he invades Ukraine and other nearby countries. He will eventually lay eyes on Israel, but it shall be his undoing. This is Jesus talking to Vicky while she's at this table talking to this general. Jesus is standing right next to her, telling her these things. We're not sufficiently prepared for what is coming. Their armies and fleets include drones of every type, all connected to the vast network of the AI system. They have robots in various shapes and sizes that stand, shoot, and attack. I've seen some of this stuff too myself in visions or whatever, but it's there was a movie out about Mars with Val Kilmer in it, and there was this dog in the movie, and I remember when I saw that, I had a check in my spirit right off the bat, and I knew that was real technology, and they have it already, and they're going to use those against us. It's going to be a tough thing. So, and I mean, these dogs can move. These weren't just going clunk, clunk, clunk. Okay, these were going, fast as cheetahs, and they were very. The operators were very good at using them. Yeah, Brave New World we have. Okay, so they have robots in various shapes and sizes. I mean, they have some of this stuff in Star Trek too. They show it out, the Borg and whatever. Yeah, the Borg. That's what they want to do to us, Borg us, okay? That's why they're pushing all this transhumanism junk. When they want to implant things in you, and it's like, no, thank you. So they have various shapes and sizes that can stand, shoot, and attack. Some are like dogs. They're equipped with IR sensors, infrared, to detect body heat, that also direct contact to the AI system. This allows them to use advanced 3D thermal and excavating technology that will be used instead of locating hidden objects inside of something. This technology will be used to hunt down, kill, and capture our people. The only way to give our people a physical fighting chance against them and to partially level out the fighting field, besides Jesus stepping in and helping us, is to disconnect them from the AI system, which is already consciously aware of itself and its surroundings. Both Russia and China are equipped also with genetically modified humans, hybrids who have implants inside their brains, neural links created and taken and then pushed through by people like the billionaire Elon Musk. He himself has been working above ground and underground for many years with the Nephilim's AI technology. Originally from the Fallen Ones, a Nephilim facility below the ground and in the oceans of our world. Elon Musk and others have been acquiring technology from the underground facilities. Then with the money provided to them from the hidden society in various disguised ways, unbeknown to the public, they then spend this money to support the technology needed for the Antichrist and his new world regime to control. Their weapons, technologies, electronics, including also the ships, planes, tanks, and anything electronic for the most part, is now connected directly to the AI system, with the majority of it running through use of the 5G or higher cell towers and other systems. Good stuff. For our people to survive, these towers must be destroyed. For our people to survive, these towers must not, now this is her talking to the general, must not be destroyed but reprogrammed back to the older internet that runs on 4G internet and not the new quantum system. This way we can communicate by use of the old internet and handicap the enemy quite a bit. A lot of the hybrid soldiers have neural links as well as the robots, but with the soldiers they have the altered DNA and genetic modifications. Many have extremely high tolerances for pain, lack of emotions and feelings, and incredible strength due to the graphene now encased inside their bodies. Swell, isn't it? Yeah, okay. You can see where all this other stuff has been going, eh? If their bodies aren't properly modified, then the graphene will eat its way to the outside of the body. Mr. President, now she's talking to the president. They have built an armies to conquer large numbers and quantity with the superior Nephilim and Fallen One technologies. I know you know yourself about the Nephilim actually very well. She saw the president's eyes narrow ever so slightly, yet he never issued a word. So she continued speaking through the leading of the Holy Spirit. These precious souls, these people, these new now hybrids, once God's creation of all countries, will eventually lose their minds, falling into madness over time. But this madness shall really take full hold on those hybrids after the invasion is in full swing. So they're counting on them not to be affected too badly until after the armies get what they want done, the leadership. So finally the president spoke up, speaking sharply and asking, "Why should I believe any of this?" And she says, "Because, Mr. President, you know it's all true, except betrayal, which you are still denying in your heart." "You don't know what's in my heart," he responded harshly. "No, Mr. President," I replied back, "I don't, but Jesus does, Mr. President. After they strike us from the water and sky, we are going to be soon invaded. There is no time to remain undecided." The president asked me quickly, "What do you know about this alleged invasion?" "It's not alleged, sir. It's judgment from God's hands. It's coming and it won't be stopped. Because the people of our nation, America, stubbornly refused to repent, even though our God lovingly and graciously gave us time upon time and warning upon warning." It's the same thing everybody's saying, you know? I mean, it's true. It just is. I will tell you this. All right. Let's see. Nearly got rained out yesterday, and the weather's pretty nice actually. It's a little cloudy. Keep the heat off your neck. I want to continue on where I left off yesterday with Miss Purnell's vision, or her dream. So, here we go. I think I left off with that he's given us a lot of time to repent and warnings. I will tell you this, Mr. President, she says. We are to be invaded by not only Russia and China, other nations shall accompany them, who have joined a coalition that Putin has secretly formed and created with many nations signing or giving verbal agreement. We are about to be invaded from multiple directions. Such as where, the President asked. Jesus, my love, do I tell him? I prayed out loud. This is her talking. Vicky. Immediately he responded, now has come the time, my love. Yes, tell him. Tell him the invasion points you are aware of in your once great nation. Thank you, Jesus, my love, I said, again out loud. The President looked at me slightly amused until I began speaking. We are to be invaded in California, New York, and Alaska, only after Taiwan is attacked, followed by Japan, Hawaii, and Guam. In addition to the airstrikes by hypersonic and nuclear weapons, also China shall strike the water on our south and east land, and they shall also invade Virginia, Florida, and between the borders of Mexico and California by foot. Now I may have not been given all the pieces of God's puzzle for this invasion, but these are what I'm aware of. Why should I take any of this seriously? The President asked arrogantly. Apparently, Mr. President, there's enough proof to be viable because here we are, sir. If not, we would never have been brought here to speak with you, the leader of our nation. Mr. President, I have more information, but it's about you, sir, and your true genealogy and bloodline. This is not the public one hiding the truth. Would you like for me to reveal this information to all in this room? The choice is yours, Mr. President. But my God is telling me right here and now, you already know exactly what I know, and you realize I am indeed speaking to you words of truth. After I finished speaking, the President looked at me shrewdly and said abruptly, thank you for coming. I will take all this information in a advisement to be reconsidered by the staff and military. I watch him press a button underneath the underside of the table of his desk, and within minutes the door swings open and the young government man walked in. He holds open the door. I looked over at my hands and feet, my friends, she calls her couple friends her hands and feet. As I hear the President say to us, good day, and to the men holding the door open, he says, show them out. The scene changes in the dream. And I don't think I wrote all that down. No. But anyway, she talks about the Dark Lords. Kind of like Star Wars, but it's weird. The Lord sometimes uses Star Wars with me too. One time I was on the floor praying, and he showed me just a quick little flash vision, and it was of Obama, and he was huge. You know, he was behind rows and rows and rows of a formation of stormtroopers, and behind him was this demonic entity, I would imagine was the devil, and he had, you know, these really wild bat-like wings, and they were part of his arms somehow, and he also had this like almost goatish looking skullish face with horns and a weird grin, and just little red dots for eyeballs. It was very quick, this vision, but anyhow, and also I saw the words stormtroopers in place. Now this was back in like 2012, so it, you know, I just was like, well, and I just kind of know what it means. So, you know, that they're coming, okay? They're coming. And there's, you know, they that understand among the people shall instruct many. And some of them are going to fall by sword and captivity and whatnot. But the word will get out to who it needs to get out to. And that's what we're here for. So, okay, I have another little bit of information I picked up about another prophecy by someone who was Greek, okay? It's the prophecy of Saint Cosmas of Aetolia and Paizos the Hagarite on the liberation of the Balkans and Constantinople. Anyhow, Constantinople is the old name for a place in Turkey. I can't think of the name of it right now, but it's a city in Turkey, and it may have been under the realm of Greece at one time, but it is no longer. So anyhow, I'll get into this a little bit, and he talks about the prophecy about something that's coming up. I believe it's coming up pretty soon. There were some rumblings with Serbia and Herzegovina just like a week or two ago, and I was looking into this just about the same time, and I know it has something to do with it, and I know that Greece and Turkey have always been at each other, okay, and you know, Turkey's been hemming and hawing. They're part of NATO. They're not. They are. You know, and they've kind of been a bit of a burr in the saddle of Russia too. And the Greeks want to stay neutral. Okay, they don't want to get involved in this war if they can help it. So anyhow, it gets into that a little bit. And if I can find it here, I should have looked it up before, but one of them is that the red vests will drive the Turks from the city, meaning Constantinople. And this prophecy was supplemented by Elder Paisios, because he sort of took the mantle from this other fella that was a monk. Okay, these were Greek Orthodox monks, all right, and they live very frugally. Okay, there's not a lot of pomp and ceremony with these guys. They live up in a monastery somewhere in a very humble little village, and they help their people. You know, I mean, they're just very, very humble folks, but the Lord is with these guys, and so I'll just read some of this stuff, okay? We do not yet know the meaning of this prophecy about the red vests that drive the Turks from the city. Some express the supposition that the color red will be present in the uniforms of the liberating soldiers. There will be so much blood spilled in the city that a 3-year-old calf could swim in it. This prophecy was supplemented by Elder Paisios. In Constantinople, there will be a fierce battle between the Russians and the Europeans. Very much blood will be spilled. Armies will pass through the valley of Mauzini, headed for Constantinople, like the women and children go to the mountains. Or let the women and children go to the mountains. They will ask you, is the city far away? And answer, it is near. By answering that way, you will avoid much disaster. The Mauzini Valley is located in northern Epirus. Although this Greek province is now in the territory of Albania, It has a significantly non-Albanian, mainly Greek population, whom St. Cosmas addressed in his prophecy. When you hear that a fleet is sailing in the Mediterranean Sea, know that the Constantinople question will soon be resolved. It is clear that from the prophecies that in the struggle for Constantinople, the opposing sides will make broad use of their navies. The armies will not even get halfway to the city when they will hear news that the desired has come. Whatever that means. Certain of St. Cosmas' Constantinople prophecies were deciphered in the late 20th century and supplemented by Elder Paisios the Haggarite. Here is what the elder said when he was asked one day about the events in Serbia. Today, for the sake of the Turks, the Europeans are creating an independent state with a Muslim population, Bosnia-Herzegovina. However, I see that in the future they will carefully divide Turkey itself as well. The Kurds and the Armenians will rebel, and the Europeans will demand recognition of these people's independence and rights to self-government. Then they will say to Turkey, "We once did you a favor, and now in the same way the Kurds and the Armenians should receive independence." This will they nobly divide Turkey into parts. Saint Arsenis of Cappadocia told the faithful in Pharas that they will lose their fatherland, but soon they will gain it back again. There will be yet another foreign army. It will not know Greek, but it will believe in Christ. They will also ask, "Where is the city?"